Alrighty, hello everybody. Thank you for coming. A very exciting session. So VATSIM UK technology. A lot of our stuff is open source, most of it, and Callum can correct me if I'm wrong, but we generally welcome contributions from members of the division. But one thing that we do, I certainly get asked about a lot, and I'm sure other people on the team do too, is people saying like, "How do I get it running? How do I boot this up?" Pretty classic problem in software engineering in general. How do I actually run these systems? And there's some prior knowledge assumed, and some of the documentation is not always fantastic. So we thought we would do a couple of sessions that are partly sort of instructional and background information about how you would run stuff, and partly a bit of a troubleshooting seminar. If we got time, I'm happy to hang around and help out with any problems that we do see today. So we're doing this one today on running core on Windows, and we're doing one next week running core on Mac. I think this one is much more popular in like flight sim world for obvious reasons. But before we get started, I would just like to get a sense of like people's prior experience with coding, with PHP, stuff like that. So what would be really helpful is there's a text channel associated with this meeting room. If you feel like it would be great to know in text, have you worked with PHP before? And what kind of stuff would you like to do if you've got a solid plan for why you're attending today? So go ahead and stick that in the text if you feel like it. We'll see if we get any responses. In the meantime, I'm going to throw the presentation up on the screen. Several people are typing. How exciting. So our very own Mr. Shaw says, done a little work on core before, but it's massive. I'm here as long as I can for any tips, tricks you have. Yeah, it is. It is really big and confusing. Maybe we'll be able to go through some concepts as well today or at some point in the future. Not worked with PHP before, but want to update the website content, which we're currently kind of doing through GitHub and Pray. We've used PHP before, done PHP in the past. Retired C# programmer. Oh, you'll be comfortable in Windows then. I'm sorry you had such a troubling career, Philip. Cool, that's all great to hear. Feel free to put stuff in there. I'll have a look at the end. So there's a link to these slides in the text room as well, if you want to follow along. So running core on Windows Vista logo, woo. So we're just going to talk through kind of what the prerequisites and what the steps involved are, and then hopefully I'm going to get it working from scratch before your very eyes. So step one, buy a MacBook and use Docker, be much easier. The reason we have to do all this stuff is because Docker doesn't work on Windows for boring file system reasons. And while I think about it, Kai or Callum, could you interrupt me if there's any questions coming in the chat, because I can't see that at the moment. But more seriously, before we get into it, we're going to talk about core, but like you can also apply this to UKCP. It's a pretty similar system, and they're kind of part of what technology does. So core does the website, the Aerodome documentation, all that kind of stuff, the waiting lists, the roster, the feedback system, and quite a few more things. UKCP is a separate system. It does Squawk assignments, stand assignments, SRD search. I'm here talking about the kind of web backend part of UKCP. There is obviously the Euroscope plugin itself, but that's what it talks to. And then there's CTS, which most of you are probably familiar with. CTS is not open source, so we won't talk about that so much today. But you can see all of this stuff, obviously, on the VATSIM UK GitHub org if you want to go have a look. So what is core? hopefully everyone kind of knows this from having a look at it. But core is PHP. It's Laravel. If you've not used Laravel before, it's probably the most dominant web framework in PHP land. These days, I sort of work in Python and other things for a living, and I think Laravel is really fantastic. And it's the thing I miss the most about when I used to do PHP professionally a long time ago. And you also need MySQL, it's the database underneath it, and it will only really run on MySQL or maybe MariaDB if you're lucky. So hopefully people have had a chance to download stuff that we're going to need today. It's just like what we need to get ready. So some kind of prior experience of getting PHP is very useful, but we don't necessarily need it. But you are going to need some kind of IDE. So you can get VS Code. It's a pretty small download. You've got time to grab it now if you want to follow along. Or if you feel like it, you can use PhpStorm. PhpStorm is a really fantastic tool, and sort of 10, 15 years ago, it was really the only option in this space. You do have to pay for it, so worth doing if you're sort of in this world professionally, but I understand if not. You will need MySQL. The way we're going to run MySQL is just like install it onto your machine and run it through Windows services. There's a download link here. You can use version 8 or version 9. I think will work either way. I would say grab the version 8 long-term support version. You need some way of interacting with that database unless you really want to sort of be on the command line. So there's Dbeaver as a free option. There's probably some VS Code plugin. PhpStorm also can do this for you. And kind of like the special thing for Laravel land is Laravel Herd, which manages installing PHP and Node and the web serving side of things. And if you've been doing this for a long time, you might remember we used to have sort of like MAMP and XAMPP and stuff like that. It's really just a modern version of that. It's also helpful to know that there is a Laravel VS Code extension that you can install in VS Code, which will help you out with sort of auto completion of Laravel things. Quite a lot of sort of special strings in Laravel. If you're using PhpStorm, there's Laravel IDEA. Again, that costs money. And honestly, like I don't really do this in my day-to-day life, but I'm not a PowerShell person. So some kind of Git GUI will be helpful. GitHub Desktop is the easiest option there. Alrighty, so Kai, Callum, do we have any questions about any of that stuff coming in?
No, you could.
Cool, thank you. So we're going to go through these steps sort of live in a minute, but I just wanted to talk you through it. So we're going to need to clone core from GitHub. If you've not used Git before, we're not really downloading like a zip file. We're going to use Git to clone it down. We're going to need MySQL running as a Windows service. If you have already installed it through the installer, most of the defaults are pretty sensible. Just install all the components. I would say just use root as the username and password. That's like the easiest way to go. And if you search services in the start menu, you can then get a really ugly ancient piece of Windows where you can then find, hopefully you have something like MySQL, whatever. I'm running version 8, running there. The next thing we need to do is install Herd. So this provides all of the kind of actual sort of language components that we are going to need. You might notice there's a lot of things you can pay for more convenience in this world. There is a paid version of Herd, which will remove the need to do MySQL. Within Herd, you're going to want to install PHP 8.3. I think that's correct. Certainly core runs on 8.3, and I'm running Node 22, which is a very recent version. And within the Herd dashboard, we have a Open Sites button, and here we can add our site. And if we'll go through this in a minute, but it's quite important for what we're going to do today that you run it on core.test is the URL we're going to set for it. Again, we're going to go through all this live in a minute. The next manual thing you will need to do is create some databases. So we need to create 3 databases. This is a screenshot of Dbeaver creating a database. You can do this however you like if you know what you're doing. Something that confuses a lot of people in MySQL land is you have to choose a character set and a collation. It's likely these will be the suggested defaults to you anyway, but you want to be UTF-8 MB4, and 0900 AICI is like a fairly reasonable thing. We won't go into what that means. And then we're into configuration world. We've got a bunch of config to do. We'll come back to this in a moment. And then after that, we'll just follow the steps in the README, and then hopefully everything works. So let me get stuff ready to go, and we will hope and we will pray that this all goes properly. Otherwise, I will look like a bit of a fool. Cool. Christian, yeah, there is Docker Compose in core. We'll talk about, if you want to come to the Mac one, we can talk about that. But PHP, Docker, and Windows is a really bad mix. It's incredibly slow. But yeah. So I have. Hopefully, you can all see my whole screen. I have MySQL running. I've installed Herd, and I've kind of got GitHub Desktop running here. I've got VS Code installed, but I haven't started anything in terms of getting stuff running. So hopefully this is all going to go great. But this is the point to start following along if you're following along at home. So at this point, you need to have all of your text editor, GitHub, MySQL Herd all downloaded and installed. And then we're going to start from cloning down from core. So here is, you might have to do a little bit of a different search because I remember the org, so I'll see it immediately. But here is core. So I'm going to put it in Herd. I already have one, so let's call it Herd Core 2. Seems like a reasonable place. Cloning down. Excellento. I seem to have successfully cloned it. Now what I'm going to do is open up Dbeaver. Here's one I made earlier. So if you're using Dbeaver or something similar, they're all basically the same. Hopefully, if you installed MySQL following kind of defaulty settings, you're going to have something like this: localhost port 3306, which is the default port for MySQL, and root and root. And when you installed MySQL from the downloader, it should have installed the client binaries for you. Dbeaver or whatever you're using might ask you to download some additional drivers, usually like a Java driver. But really, that's all ready to go, and we can see I'm running MySQL 8.0.40, which is kind of old. Connecting to it through some Java driver. So what I need to do is create 3 databases: core, which is going to be used for core when you're interacting with it in the browser; CTS, so core needs parts of CTS to access to parts of CTS to work, and there's kind of a fake CTS database it provides for you. And I'm going to create a third database called core test, just so I can have a separate testing environment that's not going to interfere with other stuff I'm doing. You don't have to do this. You can use the same one for both. I think most of the tests wrap stuff up in transactions and so on. But that's a pretty normal thing to do, I would say, have a separate core test database. So you see this is currently completely empty. Hooray. So I've cloned it down. I've configured my my databases on like creating them level. The next thing I'm going to do is open core 2 in Herd here. So I'm creating this site. So to get to this screen in, I can't show you now, but in yeah, here you go. So from the Herd dashboard, you click this Open Sites button. So I'm going to create this core 2, in my case, it's core 2 project. I've put it in this Herd directory, so Herd will pick it up nicely. PHP 8.3. I don't need HTTPS. Okay, that's so fun. Thank you. Let's see if Herd's automatically picked it up. Let's try this again. Oh, yeah, okay. So in my case, Herd has... Sorry, because I put it in this Herd directory, Herd has already found it. So PHP 8.3, Node 22, I do not need HTTPS for this. It just makes stuff difficult. And you can see I've got this lovely warning right now. So super fun. I've got it running, but it immediately crashes. That's what we love to see. So you should be at a similar point to this at this point. Alrighty. Anybody have any trouble with any of that? I went through that pretty quickly, but we're basically installing everything, cloning it, and creating 3 databases in MySQL. You don't see any Node version. You might have to come in here and install Node from this screen. Have a go at that, Luca and Georgia. So we just put the name in here. So core test, whatever. Yeah, 2023 will probably work, Luca. And then for me, these are the defaults, but this is like, really confusing. The one you want to pick is probably UTF-8 MB4 900 AICI. It's important that you
Max,
use
I
UTF-8
am
MB4.
just thinking, is there anybody, just as a quick this session out, is there anybody who was hosted downloads and is totally lost at this and all the other stuff, but would like to be able to get things set up tonight in the room? If there's not, I'll shut up and let Max carry on.
So you're a bit robot broken for me, Callum, but I don't know if that's me or everyone. But yeah, if there is someone who'd like to go to somewhere else and go somewhere else, there's people who'd like to go to another room and catch up as well. Please let us know. George, is that helpful for you? Cool. George, you can unmute as well if you want to ask questions. Or Kai, is there any problems you're having with creating the databases? Oh, no, I'm unmuting allowed. Okay. I don't know if I can allow you to talk. I can change your roles.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's way better.
Good start. So it turns out that the permissions on this channel weren't right, but Discord doesn't refresh the permissions when I change them. So if you can't unmute, like disconnect and come back, and that should work.
Sorry, Kai, where are you saying public key retrieval is not allowed?
Oh yeah, I've had to do the same. If you go into the connection, it's the Java properties. You just have to look for allow public key retrieval and set that to true.
In Dbeaver?
Yeah, if you right click on the connection and there's edit connection, and there's the second tab Oh, it's different for me. It should be something like Java properties. And there is like fifth from the top is allow public key retrieval. Set that to true. I've had to do the same.
That is really weird. I don't know why. There's no SSH involved. That's
And herein lies the beginning of being in engineering or development, that it works differently on different people's machines.
yeah, I literally installed Dbeaver today. I don't see that.
No, you got it on the top. It's Java properties in the middle. Yeah, if you click on that, it'll give you the option, but that's probably not required if it doesn't give you trouble.
I don't even know what you want me to click on.
Driver property is the second tab.
Public key retrieval. I think I set that to true.
That's really strange. I don't know why. If you haven't turned anything on here, there shouldn't really be any. But it might be to do with I probably have some version of OpenSSH on this machine. Okay. Has everybody? So I added 3 databases. I've got core test, and CTS. This is like an internal MySQL thing.
Did people leaving and joining fix the muting problem? Only because people have gone back onto mute, which I get you might not have anything to say, but that fixed the problem. Cool. Nice. And it would be dead interesting just if folks throw in the chat, like, we have, like, if people are just here for the ride, that's absolutely cool. It'd be dead interesting to know roughly how many people are literally following along live so that we can make sure people keep up. So if you're following along, just drop in the chat.
Yeah. I'm going to assume if you're following along and you haven't said anything, that everything's gone just peachy so far.
Cool.
Okay. So, we've got a lot of our stuff done, hopefully. So I'm going to go into VS Code and open up the project in here. I'm going to say I trust the authors. So I trust Callum a fair bit. And this is going to be, it's probably going to ask you if you want to install dev containers. I'm not going to because we don't really need that. And this is going to be my first time ever using VS Code live here on Discord. So you can watch me struggle. So this is what our site looks like right now. And there's kind of like, if you know PHP, a bit of a clue about what's going on in here. Because we haven't installed any dependencies. Hooray! So we need to install course dependencies using Composer, which is PHP's package manager, if you're not familiar. The way I'm going to do this, just to make sure I'm in the right place, is I'm going to go into Herd. I'm going to open a terminal from here. And, it's PowerShell, yuck. But I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do Composer install is the command I need to run. And then we're going to immediately see the first problem that people encounter, and that's that some of the stuff we have that we run in production is really going to want PHP extensions and have sort of other weird conflicts like that. So we're not going to install these extensions because we're like unlikely to ever really need Horizon locally because it's just not going to happen. So I'm going to do as it suggests, right? And this is my top professional tip to you all, is just read the error messages. So I'm going to add in, I forgot to say install. I'm going to do Composer install, ignore platform request, extension, process control. And I'm going to try again. And again, if you don't do this for a living, welcome to Life as a Software Engineer. It's just this all day. Do it. Oh, it doesn't work. Do something else. Oh, it doesn't work. Or at least it is for me. Maybe I'm just incompetent. So again, it's Horizon again. It's demanding another extension POSIX. Well, luckily, we can add that on and ignore that as well. And then bing, 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 bing. Composer is going to run and download and set everything up. So that's my first top tip to you. And I think like some people I've helped out with this really just hit this and have a problem here. In general with Composer, when it's complaining that like this thing wants this thing, you can often ignore it if you know what Laravel Horizon is. It's not going to kill us to not have it. So we're installing all of our dependencies. This is going to take a minute. And if we were on Docker, this would take like 4 hours because unzipping all of these things through a Docker mount on Windows is horrendously slow. I love Docker, Callum. I mean, I do this on like, you know, on Mac OS like a normal person. You know, I'm not. Who was it? We have a C# developer in the room, but I'm not a Windows person. So you know, I just do stuff in Unix world. Hooray! Super successful. Is anyone like on a slower internet connection or anything? Just waiting for that to finish. I'll just give you a second to like run through that, or if you hit any other errors. Further than I've got on my own before today. Okay, so hopefully that's running for most people. Let's refresh. Let's see if anything's happened. Hooray! Something is broken with a different error message. So this is really good to see. We like it when the error message changes. So what I'm going to do here is open up the README and see where we've got up to. So we've done most of this stuff. We've created our databases. We have this wonderful statement. It's a standard installation, which it is. And we've got as far as this composer install. So what do we need to do next? We need to create a .env file. So .env in Laravel, in many other places, extremely common pattern. You know, it basically replaces setting loads of stuff in our environment by having a text file that does the same thing. And it's how we configure the whole app, really. So it's most things that we can like change about how core runs we can do through here. So I'm going to copy env.example. I'm going to rename it .env. And I now have this lovely thing here, which is all of like everything, you know, I don't know, 70, 80 odd settings that I can change about core. So now I've got this file. Let me refresh again and see if something different happens. I'm hoping something different happens. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. We'll wait for it to think about it. I would assume something different would happen. But let's go back to the README and continue working along. So next, I need to generate the application keys. This is what it uses for signing cookies and stuff like that. It's not really important what the contents is, but Laravel provides us with this sort of command line package called Artisan, which will have been installed in here along with the project, that we could do many, many things with. We're about to do a lot of stuff with it. So, oh, and I do indeed have well, I'm just timing out. That's good to see. So I think, you know, I could do this like in the terminal down here. I wonder if this will work. Let's see. If not, I'll go back to the place I opened from Herd. So I'm just going to run. Oh, I'm going to try and run the correct command. PHP Artisan key generate. Hopefully this works for me. Application key set successfully. Hooray! So what's that's done is put something in here for me. And that's kind of the starting point of getting stuff going. I think what we should probably add to the README is that you then need to go and configure everything else. So there's like a big missing step here. If you are used to this stuff, then you'll probably expect to have to do this. But if not, then it's a bit of a mystery box. So this is the meat of what we're going to talk about. So we need to go through this whole thing and put all the settings in properly. The ones in the example are pretty reasonable, but maybe not the most useful for what we're trying to achieve. So I'm going to go through these, try and follow along. I will stick the entire file in the chat if I can when I'm done. So I'll try and tell you what they mean. Application environment development. This is like, are we running in production or test or on a local machine? That's reasonable. App debug. This controls how errors are presented. This beautiful thing is a result of that. This is also to do with drawing debug stuff. App key we just discussed. It's like a secret with a set format. App URL. Where are we running? So let's set that to core.test. And let's make sure that matches what we have in Herd. And for reasons we'll get into in a minute, having it core.test is quite useful to today. It doesn't have to be, but that's what I've chosen. Redis. We're not using Redis on our machine. There's really no need to. And one of the things it's used for is caching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the cache driver to array, which is basically like a fake little in-memory cache. So I've just got rid of the need for Redis. Queue driver, I'm also going to change this to sync. This means instead of jobs happening later, they will happen immediately, which is helpful for local stuff. Session driver, I'm going to change this to file. So again, I'm trying to get rid of Redis. We don't have Redis installed here. So that's some things I've changed so far. I've changed the URL, I've changed the key driver, I've changed the session driver, which means we can ignore all of this. Database. Hopefully, if you've done what I did and you have MySQL running on 3306 with root, and a database called core, the only thing you need to change here is this, because we don't have a sort of like Docker service running called MySQL. We're just going to run stuff on our local machine. So we want to change the host to 127.0.0.1. You think you can also use localhost, but there's some behavioral differences in PHP. Community database, we don't need one. CTS database, we need to set this to whatever we called our CTS database when we set stuff up. So I called mine CTS, so hopefully you did the same. Helpdesk, Moodle, we don't need. Moodle, we don't need. TeamSpeak, we don't need. Emails, we're not going to send any. Discord, we're not going to connect to it. This is VATSIM stuff. Talking about .NET, we don't need it. But we do need this stuff, because the only way to log into core is through like the VATSIM OAuth system. And this is why we called our service core.test, because these settings here, which I'll put in the presentation, I'll also put them here. These settings here are set up to use core if you are running core on core.test. If you are not running core on core.test, you're going to have to go over to authdev.vatsim.net and sort out your own version of that, which I would say just run it on core.test because easy peasy. There's way too many test clients there already. I think at some point someone from .NET Technology is going to get annoyed at how many test things they have in this test org. But you don't need to do any of that. If you are using core.test, you can use these settings. Kai, I don't know how. We said don't use HTTPS. We said use core.test. I think if you just rename your directory that core is in to core, and unpick HTTPS here, then you should be good to go. Mine is called core 2 because I'm trying to do this so we can start from scratch, but I will swap to the other one at some point. Okie dokie. Don't need this, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. Can leave this default, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. Basically, we just have to get down to here, line 74, and we are good to go. So I will send you in the text now. I wonder if this will work. It's quite big. So good luck copy pasting that. But in the chat for this room now is my entire .env file. Happy days. Let's give me another thumbs up if that all makes sense and you're keeping up with where we are. Right, sweet. So let's go. So we've done this, even though the README doesn't tell us to do it. But let's go back to the README and carry on from here. So this is the moment of truth. This is the first time we're really doing anything. So we want to run PHP artisan migrate. I'm going to really quickly make a new database for myself. You don't have to do this. This is just so I can check this works from scratch. There you go. So we have to run PHP artisan migrate. This creates all the database tables and sets everything up to work. So again, if you were on Docker on Windows, this would take about 20 minutes. But you should get output a little bit like this with no glaring errors. I love Docker, Christian. I just, I also, I'm not a sort of like game dev, so Windows is an alien world to me. Does thumbs down mean people are getting errors? Luca? No, it's fine. Fantastic stuff. Okay, so this looks pretty reasonable to me. The way these work is they all start with the time they were created. So this has taken me up to January of this year, which seems like I have a complete set of everything. I can also go in Dbeaver and bang. So I'm using this core 2 database. Here are all the tables. So again, you can see core does like a lot of stuff. And we can talk about some of the structural stuff later, but here are all the tables I just created. I need to run another migration command, which is the second one, artisan CTS migrate fresh. So this creates my kind of like fake CTS database that core will sort of pretend to talk to when running on your machine. So in the real world, it does some communication with CTS, especially as like, Callum has moved like the endorsement system into core and stuff like that. So just to make sure everything works, we need that. Very cool. And then we probably want to do this first one here. PHP artisan DB seed. So what this does is runs the part of the system that populates the database with the roles and permissions. So without this, no one can log in because the system does not know who anybody is. So at this point, we should kind of be ready to go. And I've realized that because I've called this core 2, it's not going to work. So let me be really brave and do some shuffling things around.
I respect the bravery of you live streaming your whole directory structure, recent files.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh
isn't
yeah.
it?
Dangerous.
I just wish I knew where to get Herd
C
from
users.
in Windows land.
Computer. Scroll down. This PC on the sidebar. Yeah, C. Yeah. Head should be in there.
So I'm just going to shuffle this. Great. I love Windows. I really do.
Would you like me to generate you a client for Core 2?
Yeah, could you send me the stuff? That'd be easier.
Yeah. You do Superman and Node, and I'll get you the keys.
Yeah, okay. So Calm's going to generate me OAuth settings because I'm on a different URL. We will be able to do this once we've logged in, I believe. We'll talk about that in a second. So let's just move on. So we also need to build all of the front end. So the next step from the README, npm install. Here we go. We hit the first unexpected problem of the day. I'm gonna try it in here. Okay, this is a new one to me. Let's have a think about what's going on. Thank you, Okay, well this is a brand new one to me. I'm gonna go straight to Stack Overflow. Do I need to do this? Where do I do this, Callum?
Yeah, PowerShell run as administrator. I think.
Set execution policy remote sign. Execution policy changes.
Yeah. A. Yes to all.
Yes to all. Okay, great.
Now try.
Oh, let's do it, Simon.
This is why I've got the green name on Discord, folks. That was a joke. Anyone else hitting that error with remote signed? Really boring Windows security stuff that tries to protect you from dodgy things. But there you go.
Okay, you will get some warnings about out-of-date stuff. You'll get some npm audit warnings. This is really just front-end code. It doesn't really matter. It's complaining I'm on an old version of npm, but I'm just doing what I'm doing. Yeah, you should all be fine. This is really for like this sort of security vulnerability stuff in npm is really for server-side stuff. We just use it for like CSS compiling. So no one's yet to hack your bank account through CSS, although I'm sure they've tried. Cool. Has everybody give Callum a thumbs up if you've managed to npm install or if you're having like horrible problems like I did? Thank God you're here, Callum. I never would have known that one.
No. All your professional expertise would definitely not have got. I'm fairly sure if you go to that Stack Overflow page and scroll down, that's the same Stack Overflow page. Oh no, it's not. Oh, you ended up. No, you did. There you go. Near enough.
They did unrestricted. Ooh.
Unrestricted's pretty brave.
Okay, let's carry on. So we got to npm install. And the next thing we want to do is npm run build. So this runs Vite, which is the bundler, and it will hopefully bundle everything. No, I thought I fixed it. It may be built. Are these
Yeah, that's built.
warnings?
That's definitely built.
Oh, this is deprecation warning. Hooray! Yep. So hopefully you get some kind of green tick at the bottom here. And it's built you a load of stuff. That's a really fun one. What version of Node are you running, Adam, as well?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
An old one I've just discovered. I think it's 16, 17, something like that.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's probably your issue.
All right, cool. I'll update it. Cheers.
So I would just encourage, just seeing as Adam's pointed that out, it's probably worth, folks, if you type that into your command line, if you're seeing anything other than something that starts with a 22, you need to go to where Max is showing on screen and hit install against 22.9. You don't want to be running like 16 or 8 or 3 or 2.
Luca, what's your npm version? Or Node version, rather?
Luca, your error is about missing things. Have you definitely run npm install? 20.
I have run it, yeah. It was that screenshot that I sent you, and you said it was all fine. It didn't install anything, but it was some npm audit stuff came up.
Yeah, I can see though you've got, if you look at it, npm is historically just absolutely woeful at giving error messages, but halfway down your one, you've got that. And that's the area that we're interested in, where it says, you can just about see it when you squint, you can see that one. That's the bit that it's not happy about.
Right.
Are you running 23?
Yes, I can't uninstall it. I've got 22 installed, but it won't let me change it in Herd.
Will it let you? Will it not let you change it
Oh,
on
it will now.
the site settings? I want to say.
Yeah, it didn't before when I first installed it, but I've given it a bit of a restart, and it seems to want to work now.
Just try it with 20. I'd be surprised if 23 is causing that error, but try 22.
It's failed again, but something to do with CSS stuff.
Is it the same?
But it's got
thing?
that same admin LTE build.
Okay.
I wonder if running npm CI instead.
Just try running npm install. Oh, just run that command. It should remove your node modules. Reinstall with 22. Are you definitely seeing when you run that? Are you seeing version 22 now or 23?
23 still, even though I have changed it to 22.
You might need to close and reopen your terminal.
Reopen the terminal.
Yeah.
Oh, are you having issues, or do you have the same issue?
It's interesting that Kai's seeing version 80 or 23 in there.
Yeah, that's quite strange.
Although, Kai, aren't you using some kind of wacky Docker setup as well? Earth to Kai. If you're using Docker, I'm not at all surprised. Like, there's all sorts of wacky stuff. Is there an option to like force reinstall Node on the Macs? I can't remember. On Herd.
I mean, it kind of sounds like you've got.
You're thinking exactly what I am, Max. Does that command work on Windows?
It doesn't, but there's got to be something equivalent. That's ChatGPT.
Apparently, according to Google, it's where WHERE.
Where? Great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the brilliantly named this apparently.
Beautiful. Yeah. Hi, run that. In
Get
PowerShell.
command node.
Luca, how are you getting on? What's your current?
I've just ran that RMRF thing you've sent me, and it doesn't seem to like that at all.
Is this where somebody tells me that RMRF doesn't work?
Yeah, I think it's at R only because it's. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
just,
Oh, right, okay. Sorry.
RMR
my bad.
node modules got it.
what output do you get from get command? So I would say just try and install
Yeah.
that separately. I don't understand how Windows paths work, to be honest. But I would re-download Node and install that because it looks like you're not getting the version Herd has installed, and I
That
can't
big
really.
download button on the home page is the right version.
Yeah, 22.14 is fine.
Anyone else struggling? This is always the part that everyone struggles at. By the
This
way.
is like
Node
this is
and
absolutely so classic that the issue is Node in our
Yeah.
PHP project.
Anybody else struggling?
Shall I download that node thing as well that you've pinged Kai in?
Yeah, go on.
If you're still seeing version 23, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any wacky errors that we can try and help with? Out of interest, Luca, have you tried this before?
Yes, and I
Yeah,
got
I've
to
literally
where
done
Kai
this with you,
was.
Luca, and we've got it
You
working.
have, but I've blitzed my laptop several times since then due to various problems. And I know Will did it with me a while ago, and we got to that where, you know, that screenshot Kai's got.
Yeah, well, that's because
The
you have
home
no front end built, so that's what it will
The
look like.
homepage works, but nothing else works.
I think I've not even got that far, to be honest. I'm timing out. Here we go. All right.
When you say unauthorized error. Oh, right. So you just need
Get
to.
this. So you're getting this one. So you need to open PowerShell as administrator and run this command. Paul, if you've got to the stage you've got, however you've got there.
Do I want to take that box just next?
That's fantastic.
I would say smash the box. Like,
Yeah.
I would take it.
Right, let's hope this works.
Kai, did yours work by downloading Node and then just? So you ran npm install, then you ran npm run build, and what's the error? No, what? I doubt the error message, Kai. Kai, stop messing me around, lad. What does the error message say? So does it say built in like 8 seconds or whatever?
I ran
Okay.
npm run dev.
Have you set your app URL in the .env file? Have you cleared your cache by doing Control Shift and R to refresh the page? There you go.
Hey. Okay.
Always going to be Kai causing problems. Kai should be banned from these sessions.
Yeah. ban it.
Hopefully, everyone is now at this stage. I just had to fix my app URL because I was pointing at core rather than core 2 for me, but for you it should be core. So
Oh.
I've seen at least one screenshot that's from Paul that suggests that we've got there. Is everybody looking at something like this? The classic homepage.
Callum, yeah, I've got it to the homepage.
Cool, nice one. Kai, that normally does happen when you haven't set your app URL.
Yeah.
So .env file, what does the app URL? Just make sure it says HTTP.
A no trailing slash. That's
Yeah,
the
no
big one
slash
that
at the
screws
end.
people up.
There you go.
And I think the README does say that. Do not include trailing slashes.
Oh. That doesn't
Yeah?
Okay, so how many of you have we managed to get this? So Luca's got it, Kai's got it.
I've got it, but I've got lots of errors in my terminal. Like quite
Yeah,
a lot.
well, that'll happen.
Like what type of errors?
Might be better.
Lots
if
of
I
yellow, white
red.
deprecation warnings.
Red ones. I've got
Send a
red
screenshot.
things.
In here,
Hold on. Is it going to work? Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's good. Let's have a look. Definitely run npm. Oh yeah, you've got node modules. Internal 7 go. After you reinstalled Node from the website, did you delete your node modules directory and rerun npm install?
That's a very good question. I think I did. I'll try it again.
I would do that just to.
Go back to the start.
I absolutely love it's the little things in life, right? But I love the fact that Discord allows multiple people to share their screen. Microsoft Teams doesn't do that, folks.
Google Meet does.
Yeah, well, we definitely don't pay for that.
Look, I just think everyone here should be really happy that we live in a world where you can reinstall all the stuff in 2 seconds. Because, you know, when
But that
I
should
started
now-
my job, if you wanted to rebuild stuff, you set Vagrant going and you went to lunch and you really fucking hoped it worked. Sorry,
There you
Kai,
go,
you're gonna have to bleep me out.
Even if you've got errors in the terminal, that's fine,
Yeah.
Luca, as long as it's working. What I do quite often do that, I don't actually know if this has an impact, but I normally run npm run build and then run npm run dev so that it's at least got the styles. It's not having to build everything on the fly. Yeah, I would run npm run build instead of npm run dev.
So kill this, run build, then run dev.
You really, unless you're like working on the style sheet, there's really no reason to run dev. It just gives you hot reload.
Right.
They're all deprecation warnings. It's still transforming stuff though, so just go.
Okay.
Has it finished building in that? Okay, go back to your. Sorry, I've totally crashes.
Oh, again.
Why is admin LTE not found? Just do node space -v. Still running 23. Have you restarted VS Code since?
Yeah, I have about 3 times.
Okay, I'll let Max continue and I'll send you more commands to run.
Alrighty. So, if you're looking at this, you're kind of there. It's kind of running. The next thing to do is click something that asks you to log in, and press login, and this takes you to orfdev.vatsim.net. And this is like fake VATSIM login. And it basically comes with like a kind of there's a set number of whatchamacallums, users in here that have set like who they are, what their ATC rating is, what division they're in, blah 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 blah. Callum's put a link to the documentation in the chat there, and the easiest one to use is like this one, and then it's like 601. The password is the same as the username, but you can use kind of whatever you want. Like I said, they have different ratings, different divisions, stuff like this. And if you hit login, oh no, my password 100001's been in a data breach. If you hit login, then it works, and you can get to like this page, and you can see I'm called Web1, and I have no qualifications. Then you're running. You're done. It's working. Has everyone managed to successfully log in? If we pasted the OAuth settings correctly, it should work. Logged in. React to Christian if you're logged in. Excellent stuff. So we're logged in. If we scroll back up the README a little bit, we can see this command, grant artisan, sorry, PHP artisan grant Superman. So apparently I can't paste into PowerShell. Love that for me. It's Control Shift V.
Shift insert.
Windows A. Got that right? Yeah. So if I run this command for now, I've logged in. Core is now aware that this user exists. I can now run this. Paste this in here. Was it Control Shift C to copy? No, that just seems to open a PowerShell. So you run once you've logged in. Core now knows that Web1 exists, and you can give Web1 superband permissions, which basically within the core gives Web1 sort of super user privileges. And you can then see sort of behind the curtains. Now I've refreshed the page once I've done the Superman grant. I now have this new button in the menu here, and this takes me to the dark side, and this will be a real test of all for the front end's built properly. But this takes me into the admin side of things, and this is where you can see what the waiting list management looks like, what the feedback management looks like, stuff like that. Or if you're really lucky, like me, you can just see a blank screen. I appear to have no star sheets. Love that for me. So I don't know. Again, this is like an unanticipated problem. So it looks to me like for some reason Livewire has decided to crash. But we'll try and fix that at some point. And that's the thing. So this is probably, I don't know, there's something exciting happened with npm in here. I'm going to do this. So I'm just going to remove all my node modules. I'm gonna run npm CI, which installs the version of all the node stuff from the log file instead. Let's see if this helps me out. I'm gonna rebuild. Just for the hell of it, I'm gonna run this. That's help me out. Not at all. Absolutely love that for me. That's so good. Oh. He's in this, Carl.
Have you published a filament got assets to publish? Can't remember if it does or not.
But like, it's like an unclosed comment. Oh my gosh. Let me
PHP artisan filament : assets off the top of my head, maybe. Think that should do a thing. Don't think they're in version control, so that might explain it. Just refresh the page, see if that works.
just have to run the build again.
That is super fun. Oh yeah.
Nope. Super fun. I wonder if this is. Let's have a look at that. I think pretty much everybody has the same problem, right? When you go to the admin side, you'll see it.
That it works for me.
It works?
I didn't do anything extra, I believe.
Love it. I love Node. What a great system. This one, I'm really not sure what's going on. I wonder if there's anything else. Oh, we might be missing. I just try publishing everything possible. I'm gonna go completely crazy and just publish everything. Let's see if I can change it.
Got your cache disabled in the network tab?
Sorry?
Have you got your cache disabled in the network? There you go.
Okay.
Something's not publishing. Something's clearly not.
Okay, let me just write that down and we'll fix that. There's something that should be a version control there isn't. I will sit down try and find out what that is. In the meantime, what you want to run if you're having this issue is this command. What? PHP artisan, vendor, publish, and then if you select option 0, that publishes everything from all of the third-party stuff. That probably would have just created a bunch of junk all over the place. But try that, run npm run build again if you were having a problem, and see if that fixes it. And that's just there's something missing somewhere. It's got removed from version control, but we'll sort that out. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or something if anyone's still having problems. We should now be looking at like this kind of page. Anyone? Callum Hicks? Well, you've missed a lot. Okay, so we'll assume that works. This is going to be a fantastic recording, Kai. It's going to be super easy to follow. Okay. Cool. That one shouldn't be a problem once we've sorted that out. Anyway, I'm now in the admin side, and you can kind of see everything happening. Woohoo! You know, you could submit feedback about Web 1 and then action it. This is also going to be pretty slow on your machine. But congratulations, everybody. You've all individually actioned 100% of feedback received. So give yourself a pat on the back. Callum, don't help him. I've already spent 2 hours on the phone with Mr. Luca personally, trying to sort stuff out with him. Okay, so there's one last thing that I wanted to go through, and that's we're all incredibly professional developers, so we don't test things by clicking around. What we're going to do, and this is a bit more you'd want to follow along with, is create a separate environment for testing. And the way we do that is create another .env file, .env.testing, I hope, and set our app environment to testing. And then we also in here want to change our database to core test. So we're creating a separate .env, we're changing the env to testing, and we're using that to connect to the core test database. Once I've done that, I just need to set up the database here. It's helpful to set up the database here by running this PHP artisan migrate env equals testing. And of course, because we just published everything, it's going to completely fall over. Love that for me. What I'm going to do, this is probably so I already have another project running this, so I'm just going to create myself a new database and I'll be right with you. Have another go. Yes, okay. Okay, this is because we published all these vendor files. So if you're having the same issue as me, try the, oh, that's not even the command. So I'm just going to try this, and I might just need to nuke a few migration. Because we ran that. If you did have to run it, run the oh boy.
Already given up on VS Code.
Sorry, what was that?
You've already given up on VS Code.
No, it's easier here because I can see what just got created. So when we ran assets publish, we created a bunch of migrations that shouldn't be here because that was quite a nuclear option to fix the front end build stuff. So what you need to do is remove some migration files. So these are in database migrations, and you need to delete the one I did a minute ago, and you need to delete these three that I'm gonna post in here. And sorry about that. That's just, if you didn't do what I did and do the sort of nuclear fix the front end build stuff, this wouldn't be an issue. I just swapped that because it just gives me a better sense of what's this been done. Alrighty. In the interest of time, what I'm going to do is see if I can just show you this working. I'm just going to tell testing just to use my main database, which is not being a little difficult. And then I should be able to do this. And I will pray that this works. So what you want to see here is all of these tests passing. You can see some of them are not, for fun reasons. I don't know. We probably have something that we've done wrong along the way. But this gives you a sense of where you are and is maybe a better thing to do. than like clicking around in the browser. So this is like producing a bunch of errors for me, I think, because I've kind of screwed something up when we're trying to force the front end to build. So you will, if you followed along with me, you'll probably have similar results. Just sorry about that. This front end thing has confused me quite a lot. But we are at least running most of the app properly. Really, these should all pass. And the thing to know is once we've fixed whatever this front end build issue is, I'll put a message up somewhere, and we can try this again from scratch and see if we have a better result. But the thing to know is if you want to contribute something that's like a bit more than updating like aerodrome pages and stuff, it is appreciated if you could also write tests for it. So yeah, that was kind of where I was planning to finish. We don't quite have a all passing test suite, unfortunately, but hopefully that was helpful. I'm really sorry we ran into this sort of like front end build nightmare on the admin side. I'll try and provide some follow up of how to fix that. But yeah, that kind of takes us to the end of what I was planning to go through today. And I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions, or we can try and work through together and work out what's missing in this build and fix that now. So yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. Sorry this was a little bit chaotic. It was one more unanticipated errors than I had thought there would be, based on last time I got all this running on Windows a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, and I'll stick around if you've got any questions.